and Elliott's over the last 2 seasons don't stand out like they did when he first entered the league. One of the reasons for that may be the fact that he had a partially torn posterior ligament in his right knee, we should say. But anyways, it doesn't matter. He's still kind of declining a little bit. And Harry, I'm going to start with you. Can the Cowboys count on Zeke to make an impact this season?
I think so, but the question is Zeke going to be healthy? He has to be healthy. I still think he has a lot in the tank. And you look at Ezekiel Elliott when he was balling out for the Dallas Cowboys, the 3 years where he had 1,600, 1,400, 1,300 yards as a rusher. All 3 of those seasons, he had over 300-plus carries. You look at the last 2 years, it's more so in the 230, 240 range. And granted, a lot of that is because you have a back in Tony Pollard who can also carry the load as well. But I think for the Dallas Cowboys, especially when you have CeeDee Lamb as your number 1 receiver, you have Dalton Schultz, but you don't know who's going to be your number 2 or who's going to step up in those regards. I think you're going to have to lean a lot more on the run game. I also believe that Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, has to be more dynamic in designing runs. And there's opportunities for you to have both of those guys in the game at the same time. Have Dak Prescott in the shotgun, have both of those guys right beside him. Or you can send Tony Pollard like I seen him do in week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Send him on speed sweeps. Figure out dynamic ways to get both of these guys involved, but I think it all starts with Ezekiel Elliott. When this guy gets downhill, he's one of the toughest backs in the National Football League to actually tackle. But what I love about both running backs is that both of these guys can do it in the pass game as well as the run game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you pointed out that he had a lot more carries back in the day when he was putting up them big numbers. They kept giving him the ball because he kept gaining yards. The reason why his carries have gone down in part because of injuries, but also because he's been less effective. And if you listen carefully to what Jerry Jones said, he told on himself. He said he wanted him to be a feature, and there are many ways to feature him. And then he started talking about his pass protection. Like, of course, Zeke Elliott is one of the better pass protecting running backs in the league, but that's not what we're talking about when we're saying featuring a running back. You're talking about handing him the ball and hoping that you can build things around his ability to make something out of nothing when nothing's there, his ability to make big plays or make short gains into big gains. He ain't that guy no more. And maybe Tony Pollard has the ability to be that guy, but I'm just going to have to accept that what I've been seeing out of Ezekiel Elliott is not going to change. Like, he's been kind of like devolving as effective running back in the league. And I don't expect that all of a sudden that with a weaker offensive line on the interior and exterior than they've had at his best, that he's all of a sudden going to turn back the clock and be this great running back. So, yeah, you got to solidify the interior of your offensive line if you want to win football games in the National Football League.
Why he doing you like that, Woody? Why?
Oh, my goodness.
I'm trying to win him back. I want him to be my friend again. I'm sorry, D-Wood. I didn't mean it. I love y'all.
Man.
And simple. And basketball.
No, hey, it's all, no, I see you, Dom. I see it's all love, baby. But, for me, it's, I think less is more when it comes to Zeke, moving forward. I think Zeke can become more effective with less touches. And I think that's where Tony Pollard comes in at, because clearly when you watched it too, Tony Pollard is the more explosive player, at this juncture right now for the Dallas Cowboys. So we've seen a decline along the offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys, which has been kind of their identity, the linchpin of that football team. And so I don't expect Ezekiel Elliott to all of a sudden, have this, this youthful potion that's going to turn back the clock or anything like that. But I think if you can find a way to maybe balance it out more as far as touches between Zeke and Tony Pollard, take a little bit less off of Ezekiel Elliott, he actually can become more effective running back and therefore helping the Dallas Cowboys offense. Because right now, when you look at the Cowboys, particularly on the outside, they're in a world of trouble. They're in a world of trouble. Amari Cooper gone to Cleveland.
Big time.
Like Michael Gallup is still coming back from the ACL. James Washington just got hurt. He was like their third wide receiver. He's going to be out for months this season. So they got some issues on the outside, and there's a lot of uncertainty with that Dallas Cowboys offense.
I mentioned earlier that only 2 receivers have actually had regular season catches from Dak Prescott. Knowing that, do we feel like the Cowboys are going to be a playoff team this season?
Yeah, I still think they make the playoffs. I think that the Eagles should be considered the front runner for the division, but the NFC in general, I don't think is incredibly competitive. It's not like the AFC. I think with Dak Prescott and with Micah Parsons, the contributions he can make on defense, and hopefully Trayvon Diggs can put up. I mean, he's not going to get 11 interceptions at corner back-to-back years. That's just unheard of. But if he can continue to turn the ball over and give Dak a short field, I think they have the talent to get one of the three wild card spots, but the division should go to the Eagles, who are loaded top to bottom.
I kind of had the Cowboys on that line. That's a little shaky right now because when you look at the three spots, right, and I look at these teams, I look at New Orleans, I look at Minnesota, who's going to be better. You look at the games that they lost last year, they should have actually made the playoffs last year. I know they reviewed all those film and that tape and was hitting themselves upside their head. You also look at the 49ers. I'm trying to think who else, in the Arizona Cardinals and Dallas. So you have 5 teams right there that are basically going to be competing for 3 slots. So it's going to be tough sledding, but they can't slip up and only beat teams within their division. They're going to have to beat teams outside of the division because their schedule was a lot tougher this year.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys will make the playoffs. I mean, we're talking about, 7 slots in the NFC in both conferences. So, I think most people would agree that Cowboys are a top 7 team within the NFC conference. I think the Philadelphia Eagles will win the NFC East, but I think the Dallas Cowboys will find a way to get into become a wild card team in the postseason.
All right, we'll see what happens this NFL season. It's upon us, guys. The NFL season is almost here.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.